Tammy's got a channel on YouTube, she shines. The fake bake diaries, crafting in her own sweet time. She'll show you how to make fake ice cream that glows, giant gumdrops and cotton candy, whimsical treats she knows. Grab your scissors, get your glue. The crafting's just begun with a sprinkle of imagination.
Hello and welcome back to the Fake Bake Diaries. My name is Tammy and today we'll be making this incredible crystal or geode cookie. This is absolutely amazing. Check out the inside. It is spectacular. So join me today as I make this amazing geode cookie.
Crafting with a twist, Fake Bake Diary.
To make my crystal cookie, I'll be using the darker brown Bose foam clay. So first I'll condition it. Conditioning really means kneading it and making it pliable. Then roll it out.
In the dead of night, when all is still, fairies gather atop the hill, with a wink and a twirl of their wings.
Now I'm going to take a 12-inch round, some tacky glue. I want to make sure that my clay is going to stick to my round. That's why I'm using tacky glue.
Windows closed tight, sprinkling sugar where the moonlight is bright.
To spread the glue, I really like using these silicone brushes. I'll put a link below. They wash so easily and I don't waste my paintbrushes.
Wake up to snow made of frosting so fine, peppermint winds in the whispering pines, chocolate.
This is the glue side. I'm putting it upside down on top of the clay.
Down into divine, frosted rooftops gleaming.
Now we're going to take the edges and very slowly with the heels of our hand, go around and slowly push them up and stick them to the sides.
There's secret work beneath night sway. Wake up to snow made of frosting so fine, peppermint winds in the whispering pines, chocolate lanes beneath the stars shine. Fairy've turned this town into divine, frosted rooftops gleam in the dawn, marshmallow lanes where kids do fawn, gingerbread houses line the way. There's secret work beneath night sway. Fairy've turned this town into divine, silent steps through the
I didn't put any glue on this side. Right now I only wanted my glue to go right to the edge of the styrofoam. I'll leave about a finger width around the styrofoam and cut the rest off.
glittering gumdrops piled high so sweet, whimsical colors like a Candyland tree. Friends by the fire feeling warm inside as the snow falls softly on this magical night. Gumdrop trees standing tall and proud, houses made of candy so cozy and
I ran out of my other tacky glue, so I'll use this tacky glue. I'm going to put it just right along the edges. If you can see the height. I don't want a lot of clay coming in as I wrap it around, and I want to be able to thin it out as it goes in.
here in this gumdrop wonderland, where love is near.
I'm putting it in right into the edge and just out slightly. Now I'll gently bend around the edges. I don't want to thin my edges. I want to keep my edges thick. Your foam clay will likely shrink as it dries, and you don't want to thin your edges out or you will get cracks in your clay. So I'm just going to bend those over, and once they're bent, I'm sliding only this top part over, and I'm leaving this edge nice and thick.
But then there's glitter in the breeze. Look at Tammy on the screen. Fake baked dreams, how they gleam. Silly me, I had to laugh. Crafting is my better half. Can't stop crafting, no way. Every time I swear I stray. Crafty heart makes me.
I'm going to take this. This is my drying box. I need to pop this up quickly. I'm going to smooth these just right along the edges here. Take your skewers, 4 of them should do. This styrofoam is quite thin, so don't push down hard on it because they will come right to the top. You're really just sitting it there. Okay, and I will put that aside to dry. I'll make a second one.
Just one more step, one more piece. Creativity unleashed. In the night, in the day, crafting always finds its way. Crafting with a twist, fake big diaries.
The reason I don't put glue on this side yet is because I don't want my clay to accidentally touch the glue as I'm guiding it over the edges. Once you get glue on it, you can't use that clay anymore. Everything that I'm cutting off right now, I can use again. I just need to put it back into my bag. The clay on these are not thick, so they'll be dry enough for me to work with tomorrow. I'm taking my DAP Fast and Final lightweight spackle. Make sure you use a lightweight spackle. I'll put a link to this below. I'll be mixing it with some Mod Podge. There's no exact measurement. Just put in some and decide how thick you want it. This is a good consistency for me. I want to make sure there's no lumps in it. So the next piece is taking another piece of the 12-inch styrofoam. It's the same size as the one that I just used. I'm going to take this and go around the edges. When I do it, I'm pushing into the foam so that I can fill in all of these little bits, or at least make them less noticeable.
In the craft room, light so bright, glitter flies and glue in sight. Fake bakes looking so pristine, till I drop them with a scream. Frosting falls right off the cake, spills and smudges.
To give it a nice smooth finish, again, you can use your silicone brush.
Life behind the baker's screen. Oh, the fake bloopers, laugh them all away.
The Mod Podge dries fairly quickly in terms of being able to work with it. So I put one first thin coat on and really made sure it went into all of the holes that I could and pushed it in there. Then right away I went around and put a second thin coat over top. It dries fairly quickly. I could get the second coat on top right away. Because they're spackle, I will leave this to dry until tomorrow. Now I'm going to do the same thing to a second one.
My cravings, sugar sprinkles on the floor.
Even though the spackle is very thin on this, spackle is a bit deceiving and it takes a while to dry. Put it on thin if you'd like it to be dry by the next day. I'm going to put 2 of these aside and allow them to dry overnight. These 2 have dried overnight. I took a 100 grit sanding sponge and very lightly went around the edges, only to take off anything that might be sticking out. Took about 1 minute for each. After that, I put on 2 layers of Clear Ultra Matte. I'm making sure that this is all sealed in and that the surface isn't porous. You can use any type of sealer you want, but make sure you put a minimum of 2 coats on here. I like this brand because the layers dry very quickly and I can put on multiple coats in a short period of time. It's also indoor-outdoor. I'll put the link for it at the bottom in both matte and glossy. Right now, it's almost dry, but there are still imperfections. I'm okay with that because it's a cookie. I just didn't want it to look like it was styrofoam. Next, I'll be using my Speedball metal leaf adhesive because I'll be metal leafing around the edges. I like this brand because it works well. I've never had any problems with it, and it has a fast tack time of 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to go off screen now and put a very thin layer of this metal leaf adhesive right on top of my sealer. Just make sure that your sealer is completely dry. Once I apply this, I need to wait between 20 and 30 minutes. When I touch the edge and it feels sticky, so it feels tacky, can I apply my metal leaf? I'll check it in about 25 minutes. It's been about 25 minutes and those are all nice and tacky. I'll be using gold metal leaf. Metal leaf comes in all kinds of different colors. Today I'll be using gold. It's very easy to apply, but it is a bit flyway. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I love gold leaf. I finally decided to step it up a little bit. I purchased a gilding brush and white cotton gloves. You don't need to have these. I purchased these because I loved metal leaf. What you do need though is the softest brush that you can find. Oh, that's very nice. If you like to metal leaf like I do, I'll put the links to these below. What a difference between this and the soft paintbrushes I was using before. Before I got these gloves, I was using my fingers to rub down. You can continue to use your fingers to rub down and a very soft cloth, but I was ready for gloves. These are soft. Oh my goodness. You get 2 pairs in this pack. I'll start to apply the metal leaf.
She woke up early, kids still asleep, dreaming of a place where she can just be. Husband calling out, but she needs a break. One single day for her sanity's sake. Lock me in the craft room just for a day. Fake big diary's gonna take me away. Paper and scissors, glitter and glue. Need a little silence. What else can she do?
You can take your hand or a nice soft cloth and give it a very gentle rub.
But her mind's in a spin, crafting self-care. Time for her to begin. Lock me in my craft room just for a day.
I'm going to put this aside and apply the metal leaf to my next one. Now I'm going to use my new gilding brush to gently brush off any excess metal leaf.
Just to get inside. Clearance days, craft dreams come alive. Eyes on the glitters and the glue.
Once you brush up all of your little bits, take a very soft cloth and gently rub all the way around, and it will shine it right up and blend in all of the edges so it just looks like one piece all the way around.
At night, clay. Shopping spree on clearance day.
Take a look at that shine. It's gorgeous. Purposely, I didn't fill that one. It no longer looks like styrofoam. If you've ever painted right on top of styrofoam and you see all the holes in it, you don't see that now. But there's still some texture underneath, which is good for the look of the cookie.
Need more supplies before we go. Pushing through the aisles with...
That is super shiny. I showed you quickly here how to use gold leaf. If you'd like to know more about gold leafing and how to use it with foam clay, take a look at this video up here. It will give you the basics that you need to metal leaf.
It's good. Can't resist the call. Crafting's worth it all. Carts will overflow. Need more supplies before we go. Line's so long, but who?
Now that I've brought out my white foam clay, conditioned it, I'm going to roll it into 2 thick worms.
Glitter, magic, fabric, lace. Craft store, heaven, special place. So
I'm trying to make 2 worms about the same width and same length. The length of each should fit around here. Take a string, give yourself a little bit of room. And we want to make sure it is long enough to go here. That looks pretty good. I'm cutting off all the ends so they are flat. It doesn't matter which side you're putting on, just pick a side. I'll place it on first.
Wake up in the morning light, got $1 in my hand. I'm heading to the store so bright, this place is Wonderland. Cartwheel down the aisles.
I placed my worms along the outside, but not touching the outside. I'm leaving about a finger space on each side. Now I'm going to eyeball and see if these 2 will fit together. I don't want them touching because they will stick. That looks pretty good. Now I'll take my Gorilla super glue and glue my worm onto my styrofoam.
Feathers for a funky hat, mason jars for summer nights, stickers for scrapbook chat, we're creating pure delights. No limits to what we'll make, imagination wide awake, a masterpiece from paper plates, together for our craft.
Next, I'll take my quick dry tacky glue because I'd like this to dry quickly. I'll be applying it along this edge.
More, right there in the dollar store. The dollar
take my silicone brush that I use for glue. I'll put a link for these below because they wash so nicely.
A masterpiece from paper plates, together for our crafting sakes. Dollar store, find so sweet, crafting dreams we need, everything we need and
While my tacky glue is still wet, I'm going to take my sides and push them down and thin out the bottom. I'm trying to slant this down to here.
Glue and glitter on my hands, crafting shoes and rubber bands. Late nights all for this, dreaming big, can't miss. Paint and paper everywhere, final touches here and there. Heart in every piece I make, it's my chance that I take. Ready for the show, oh, oh, oh. Crafts lined up in a row, oh, oh, oh.
It doesn't matter if this is bumpy or smooth down here.
Can't wait for the day. Friends and family cheer me on, crafting till the break of dawn. Every sparkle, every bead, giving the folks what they
Now I'm taking my glue and my silicone stick and putting a thin layer all the way around, including down the sides.
got my heart on display. Can't wait for the day. Nervous hands got a smile.
I'm putting the Gorilla Glue all around the edges, and I'll put it down to about here, but I won't put it right on top of here right now. This is glass white vase filler. It's not really white. It's more translucent with a mother of pearl shine to it. I purchased this at Michael's. You can also look for different colors of these. I think the Dollar Tree carries some as well. I'm going to sprinkle these all the way around and pushing it into the clay. I want these to stick, which is why I have the Gorilla Glue, because glass will stick to Gorilla Glue. It's not going to work very well with my tacky glue. And I want my first layer to be embedded into the foam clay. I have a cloth so that I can press down if I need to without hurting my fingers.
Friends and family cheer me on, crafting till the break of dawn. Every sparkle, every bead, giving the folks what they need. Craft room gathering hearts, reading magic in our hands. Paper flowers rise with spark in a world that understands. Glitter, shine, and love we share, frost and dreams beyond compare. Joy in simple shapes we make, in a hope no hearts will break. Fake, bakes we create, lifting spirits high, it's fate. Some don't get it and that's fine, in our room we're so divine. Cut and fold with steady hand, colors bright as we command. Tales of passion we unfold, in our craft room pure as gold. With each brush we draw the line, love and laughter intertwine.
I'm going to move this out of the way to dry. When you're putting on your Gorilla Glue, don't put it on thick. The glass is heavy. If you put your Gorilla Glue on thick, they're all just going to slide down the metal leaf.
In our craft room night and day.
I'm going to keep an eye on this for about an hour and a half. Come around and make sure that none of these are falling down and gluing onto the gold medal. Do you see how they might fall? So I'll take those off. It's okay that they're sitting on the ledge, but you don't want them all the way down, falling all over your gold. It's been about 2.5 hours since I've glued these. They're not fully dry at all, but I'm hoping that it's dry enough to move on to the next part. I'm going to take off the excess that's not glued on. I'm focusing on the middle part. I don't care if there's parts that are not glued on. I'm clearing the middle part.
With each brush we draw the line. Love and laughter intertwine. In this space we find our place. United we will always chase. Some won't see the beauty.
Now that the centers are brushed out, I'm going to take my turquoise acrylic paint and paint the center.
I'm a crafter of cakes so great. They're all fake but taste top rate.
I'll also fill in a few of the spaces that are left open while this is drying in the middle.
Know the tale, fake bakes fab and never fail. Glitz and glam on every plate. Praise the fake bake, let's celebrate. Fake bake diaries on the go. Talk to everyone I know. Sugar free but sweet as pie. All my treats just touch the sky. Plastic cherries and foam so light. Made with love that's out of sight.
I have 2 coats on most areas. I'm going to let these dry overnight and fill in any bits tomorrow before I come back.
Crafting magic made to last.
To make my icing on top, I'll be taking my DAP Fast and Final lightweight spackling and adding in cornstarch. Normally I like to add in Johnson's baby powder because it is basically cornstarch. I just like the smell of it, but I'm all out of, so that means I'll be adding cornstarch.
Fake bake diary.
That's a nice consistency. Now I'll add burnt umber acrylic paint.
My treats just touch the sky. Fake bake diaries on the go. Talk to everyone I know. Sugar free but sweet as pie. All my treats just touch the sky.
I realized I forgot to put my sealer on here, so I'm going to do that now. This won't take long to dry. I'll do a quick round. I would like the sides of the cookie to be a matte color and the top to be glossy.
Paint and glue.
I'll put it back on my box to dry for a few minutes.
Crafty, that's what we do. Fake bakers on a mission, we're in disguise. Shopping for supplies, we'll improvise, we'll improvise. Chewing gum, ribbons and sparks.
My sealer needs another 5 minutes to dry. Make sure this is airtight. And I'll be back in a few minutes.
Masterpieces, stealing our hearts.
These will be just fine now. I'm putting a simple chocolate icing on the top with texture in it. Nothing fancy.
Pros, no one knows our crafty shadows.
I'll put my lid back on. You can use this again for another project. I'll leave these to dry overnight. They won't be fully dry tomorrow, but hopefully they'll be dry enough to work with. So tonight, these are drying as well as my crystals. This has dried overnight. It feels good. This morning, I took the same turquoise color that I used in the middle, added some white to it, and brushed it in towards the center. Geodes have a darker center, and the paint will help with that. I have this glass vase filler. It has a slight turquoise color. So if I compare the two, this is the one I used around the edge, and this is the one I'm going to use right now. They're both light, but 2 different colors. I'll be applying my Gorilla Glue and adding in my light turquoise glass filler.
Walking down the street, eyes on the prize, searching for the treasures in a vintage disguise. Gonna upcycle tonight, turn old into bright. Restore finds fake bakes from the mind. Racks of old clothes, books and old clocks, dusted off, add some glitter and locks. Gonna upcycle tonight, turn old into bright.
Now I'll let these dry for a few hours. It's been about 2.5 hours. I'll dump out what's not attached.
Paint and glue, just like new.
Now I'll put my second layer on. I'll fill in any of these spots that didn't get filled in before and make a more graduated slope.
Crafting joy and a playful grin. Come to mind. Come to mind. Come to mind.
I have this gorgeous turquoise blue glitter. It's a fine glitter that I purchased from Amazon. I'll put the link below. It's very pretty. And I'm going to add some in between these layers. It'll be darker, so I'm aiming more for the center.
Polaroid frames, vinyl record spin. Crafting joy and a playful grin. Come to mind. Come to mind. Come to mind. Come to mind. She wakes up in the morning, glitter on her hands, crafts her way to glory, stickers, rubber bands. She talks about her projects to everyone she meets.
I'm going to allow this to sit until tomorrow to make sure that all of the glue is dried. This morning, I come walking into the craft room to see how everything dried overnight. As I'm approaching these cookies, I start thinking, well, they really look realistic. That looks really neat. I really like that. What's going on with that? I pick it up, and because I put in too much cornstarch in relation to the DAP Fast and Final spackle, it cracked. But for a cookie, it looks amazing. I don't know if it looks amazing on camera, but in person, it looks amazing. The cracks just look like natural cracks that you would get in a cookie. In the end, these turned out accidentally better than I had hoped. If yours crack and you decide you don't like the crack, just make another layer of thin icing and go over the top again. I'm keeping this because this looks really neat. The icing is hard to the touch, but I would like to give it another 24 hours to make sure that is dry, which works out fine because I'm waiting for that set of crystals. They have to dry overnight. While I'm waiting for everything to dry, I have here two 10-inch cardboard cake rounds from the dollar store. Because the glass is heavy, it seems to be fine so far, but I want to reinforce the styrofoam. I'm gently going to turn this over and glue these in the middle. This has a shiny side to it, so I will use my Gorilla Glue to make sure it sticks.
Knitting through the night, every thread's a highlight, colors shining bright. Paints and brushes ready, she creates her world with a mind so steady.
Now they have some weight on them, and they'll be fine until tomorrow. The icing has been drying now for about 3 days. During that time, I've been filling in the crystals for the interior of the cookie. Yesterday, I had other things to do, so I didn't get back to working on this. And now I want to make it darker. When you use DAP Fast and Final or white clay, anything with a white base, even if you're putting darker colors into it, it's not going to turn out dark. It will still always stay light. This is as dark as I could get this. In my mind, I wanted this icing to be darker. So I'm going to use my Mod Podge drip. If you don't know how to make this, check out the video up here and it will show you how to make the Mod Podge dip and a couple of other different drips or icings like this. So I'm going to use this, drizzle it on, and it should turn out darker than it is now.
And her creations on the fake diaries. Tell me of your creations.
It's time to let these dry. Stay tuned because I think this cookie is going to look fantastic once it's all put together. I wanted to fill in around the ledge, but to get all the way around, I stood them up, put something heavy behind them, I continue to use my Gorilla Glue and put glue along the side, shake my glass on top. About every 2.5, 3 hours, I would come in, turn it, add more glue, add more glass, and keep turning it. Now they're ready to shake off all the excess glass and all of my filling is complete. These turned out amazing. There are 2 coats on here. They are exactly what I wanted. Dark, luscious, shiny chocolate. I love them. The backs are glued on for extra stability. It's time to put these cookies together. Here's the bottom of one. I've taken most of the glass off, but because there's so much on here, some of it will still fall off right now. Flip it over.
Lights are twinkling, the snow's aglow. Candles flicker in the cold night.
That looks good, so I'll take my Gorilla Glue.
Mistletoe, sharing gumdrops in the winter glow. We laugh together like kids do. With every bite, our smiles grew. Colors bright like...
The good thing about using Gorilla Glue is that I can turn and shift these around as I need to before it dries. I could have used a glue gun, but that means I would have to be exact when I'm putting these together without any wiggle room because they'll stick right away. So the Gorilla Glue gives me time to move these around and get them in the best position. With the weight this already has, this will be fine to allow these to dry like this. Once these are dry, I'll be back to finish these off. This has been drying for about 2 hours. It's not dry yet. It will need overnight to completely dry, but at this point I can handle it and continue on with what I'm doing. There's a gap between the gold and the cookie. I'm going to fill that gap to keep the gold vibe going. I'll take this hemp rope that's wrapped in a gold foil. I purchased mine at Dollarama. This is what I'm going to use to trim. What I like about this hemp rope is that if you twist it one way and glue it, it gets tighter and tighter. If your gap is narrow, or you can unwind it a little bit if you have a wider gap. This is a wider gap, so I'll be untwisting mine as I glue it around.
Glowing light, with each taste, everything's right. Gumdrops and laughter fill the air. Love and joy we can't compare. In your eyes a twinkle rare. Sharing treasures everywhere. Gumdrops and laughter fill the air. Love and joy we can't compare. In your eyes.
I do have to lay this down to glue this on, but I wanted to show you where I'm gluing it.
Neighbors gather round, gates and ladders found. Lights are tangled tight, chaos in the night. Let's make our...
When you get to the end and your 2 ends meet, put a little bit of glue in between and squish them together. You will barely see the start or end of this rope.
Show with the big grin.
You can barely notice that. The other thing you can do to cover it, you can take another piece of foil and lay a small piece over top of that joint.
Goes a crash, hey, don't splash the trash.
There you go. You wouldn't notice that at all. It's so pretty and unique, and it's not hard to make. Let's put the cookie together. It is gorgeous.
Sugar rush, sweetness,